So welcome our great panel here, and I'm going to turn it over to each one of them to give a short introduction about their particular ballot initiative and how that's going to impact Nevadans. I'm going to start with Joe.
Great. Good afternoon, everyone. As Greg said, my name is Joe Duffy, and I'm the campaign manager for Nevadans for Background Checks. And Nevadans for Background Checks is a statewide coalition focused on passing the ballot initiative that's going to be on the ballot in November of 2016 to require background checks on all gun sales. And what I want to do today is talk a little bit about how we got here, why Nevada, and why we're doing it this year, as well as some statistics, as well as some information in terms of why this is such an important issue for Nevada, as well as the rest of the country. So, as Greg said earlier, I've been involved in Democratic politics for the last 8 years now, getting my start with President Obama's campaign. And I recently started a couple months ago with Nevadans for Background Checks. And that's an organization that really came about through a national gun violence prevention movement that had been obviously organizing for years, but really started in earnest in December of 2012 after the Sandy Hook shooting. After the Sandy Hook shooting, as you all know, one of the worst gun violence incidents in our country's history, there was a big national movement and a big national push to require background checks on all gun sales. And organizations like Everytown for Gun Safety, Center for American Progress, the Brady Campaign, were working together to try to pass a bill to require background checks on all gun sales. So, as you all know, or may not know right now, when you go to buy a gun at a federal licensed dealer, if you go to a gun store, you're required to get a background check. That system's been in place since 1998, and it's a successful system. It's blocked over 2.4 million people from being able to purchase a gun. And basically, all it's prohibiting somebody from purchasing a gun is if you're a felon, if you're a domestic abuser, or if you're mentally ill. And that is federal law. So in all 50 states, if you go to a federal licensed dealer, you're required to get a background check. However, there's this dangerous loophole in our law right now where you can go online or you can go to a gun show and buy a gun without a background check. And that's the case currently in Nevada. And as I said earlier, after the Sandy Hook shooting, there were 8 states that required background checks on all gun sales. So not only a federal licensed dealer, but through private sales online or at gun shows. And there was a big push nationally to require background checks through all gun sales. And as many of you might know and might be familiar with, it was the Manchin 2Me bill that was proposed in Congress. It got 55 votes in the United States Senate, but unfortunately it didn't get 60 votes to move forward to pass that bill. And so as a result of that, and being with a fairly progressive Senate after the 2012 elections, obviously Democrats were in control, organizations like Everytown for Gun Safety and a few other gun violence prevention organizations decided to take it to the states, and they took it to the Nevada State Legislature in 2013. And there was a bill proposed by Senator Justin Jones, who's right there. Let's give him a round of applause. Senate Bill 221 that would close this private sale loophole. The bill passed the state Senate, passed the state House. Unfortunately, it was vetoed by Governor Sandoval. And so what an organization called Everytown for Gun Safety, who I've mentioned a couple times, that came about from an organization called Mayors Against Illegal Guns that was founded by then Mayor of New York City, Michael Bloomberg, decided that among other gun violence prevention survivors, moms, and members of law enforcement, decided that unfortunately we weren't going to be able to get it done through the state legislature, so we decided to take it to the ballot. And that's when Nevadans for Background Checks was founded in the summer of 2014, where we started gathering signatures to qualify for the ballot in 2016. And our efforts, we were able to collect over 250,000 signatures, the most in state history, to qualify for the ballot in November of 2016. In 2015, the state legislature, obviously a very different dynamic. Unfortunately, we lost a lot of our friends in the state House and the state Senate. different makeup. We didn't expect them to take it up because they had an opportunity to address it. If they didn't do so, then it would officially qualify for the ballot, which it did. And so our organization is focused solely on requiring background checks on all gun sales because the statistics show us and the research shows us that this policy, although it does not prevent all gun violence prevention, all gun violence, nothing will. It does save lives. And as I mentioned earlier, there was 8 states that required background checks on all gun sales prior to Sandy Hook. Now there's 18. And Nevada will be 19 once we pass it in November of 2016. And what we've seen in the 18 states that have background checks on all gun sales is significantly reduction in gun violence. So for example, in only the last couple years, in the states that have closed this private sale loophole, we've seen a 48% reduction in officers being killed by a gun. You see a 46% reduction in suicides by a gun. You see a 48% reduction in domestic violence with a gun, just closing this private sale loophole. Because it's estimated that about 40% of all gun sales across the country happen online anonymously. And some people make the argument that criminals are still going to be able to get guns. They'll steal guns, they'll find the black market. But what we've seen since this system has been in place, this federal background check system since 1998, it's blocked over 2.4 million people from purchasing a gun. Because surprise, surprise, criminals aren't the smartest people when it comes to trying to purchase a gun. And this is going to prohibit them from being able to use this avenue that, right now where you can go online, you can meet in a McDonald's parking lot, and you can exchange a gun for cash, as well as at a gun show. So our campaign is focused on building a bipartisan coalition of survivors of gun violence, members of law enforcement, Democrats, Republicans, independents, to ensure that we're educating people about this issue, this common sense issue. This is not something where we're going to create a national gun registry. We're not going to take away guns. We're just making sure dangerous people aren't able to be able to purchase a gun. Obviously, more importantly, I want to hear questions from you. But one thing I just want to say is, we need your help. This is an issue a lot of people aren't necessarily aware of. They're not aware that's on the ballot. People assume there's background checks on gun sales as is. So we need your help to get out the vote on this issue and educate people about this. So we have a table out front. We have organizers out here out front as well to give you more information. Please visit our website, safenevada.org. That has information in terms of the bill, as well as other ways to get involved. And I think together, we'll be able to pass this come November. So thanks.